So there are a lot of people who are on the fence about getting involved in the sport of boxing, or you were involved at one point and you've taken a little break and maybe need a boost to get back into it. So in this video, I'm going to discuss 10 reasons why I think you should get involved in the sport of boxing. Now first, before we get into the 10 reasons, check out my Boxing is the Best Training for Real Life t-shirts. I partnered with Victory Fightwear. For the first 10 orders that come through, any of those individuals will be eligible to win a custom boxing outfit designed by Victory Fightwear. And there are already a few people who've purchased, so you will definitely be in the draw. And check out my Precision Band for helping you keep your elbows in and your punches tight and efficient. They are free as long as you're willing to pay for the shipping. I got a link below for that in the video description below. On to the video. Reason number 1, boxing is a heck of a lot of fun. Everything from cool gloves and cool gear to shadow boxing, working the heavy bag, double end bag, speed bag, hitting the mitts, hitting the pads with your coach, your partner, working on partner drills, sparring, and all the other stuff that goes with it. Boxing has so much to do. If you're looking for something that you can get involved in and have a lot of fun at the same time, boxing is that sport. Number 2, and this is one of my favorite, you can determine your own level of involvement. And I think this is gonna answer some questions for people who are on the fence. Let's start at the lowest level. The lowest level is you're shadow boxing in your bedroom. You can even start there if you really want to. That's the only opportunity available to you. To working out in your basement on a bag, let's say you've got some equipment in your basement. Going to a gym, doing the fitness classes there, that would be maybe a next level up depending on your experience. Hitting the bag, hitting the pads, just being in and around the environment. To joining a gym that has a fight team and you're looking to prepare for your first fight, getting yourself into that groove, learning all the official stuff, sparring for the first time, going through that whole experience of getting yourself ready for that fight. To the next level of being part of an amateur fight team where you're fighting in local tournaments, regional tournaments, Golden Gloves, etc. Maybe you're gonna make it on a team for your country and you're gonna fight in international championships, maybe the Olympics. To the pro game where you decide that you wanna make this a career, you can make some money from it or also have some fun and make some money from it. That would be the next level up. The only one you can't scale back from is once you go pro, you can't go back to amateur, but everything else you can scale. Let's say you decide to get ready for your first fight. You get ready, you have your first fight. It's an amazing experience. You don't really want to fight anymore, but you love boxing. Well, you can always just scale it back. In the sport of boxing, there are no must-level requirements where you have to do this or you just can't be involved. You can determine your own level of involvement and you can switch it at any time depending on what suits you and your lifestyle. Number 3, one of the things that boxing did for me, which is one of the best things that ever happened to me with boxing, is it compels you to clean up your life in every other way, especially if you're sparring. The last thing you want to do is go into a sparring session if you've had a week of drinking, a week of junk eating, partying late, no sleep. You're gonna pay for it. So in a good holistic way, in a positive way, a positive pressure way, boxing is gonna compel you to get a good night's sleep, to eat right, to abstain from alcohol, smoking, drugs, to abstain from anything that's going to really throw you off your game. You know, like Hulk Hogan used to say your prayers and take your vitamins. This kind of lifestyle, boxing is gonna turn you into a Hulkamaniac. You're gonna be a boxomaniac. So boxing, I think, is not just for the sport itself, but it's gonna compel you to clean up every other area of your life in a positive way. The conditioning, there is so much conditioning and training involved in boxing, and this is number 4. Boxing will compel you and give more purpose to all the other training and conditioning that you're doing. Skipping, doing ab work, running, getting in the pool or on the bike if you're doing that, hitting the weights at the gym, doing your plyos. When you have boxing as the peak, as the main goal, all these other activities are more fun, more purposeful, and more enjoyable. If I'm boxing, running isn't so painful. I can go out there and do my sprints, go out there and do my intervals, and I love it. And I know what it's bringing to the table. If I'm not boxing and I'm just going out for a run to burn calories or just to try to maintain my shape, that can be a very painful and boring run. Number 5, no doubt about it, boxing is gonna get you into amazing shape. From all the conditioning and training that you do to just the sheer amount of calories that boxing is gonna burn up in a fun way while having purpose to your workout. Boxing trains, even though boxing is mostly an anaerobic sport, let's say 60-40, 70-30 based on the research, boxing still trains all 3 of your energy systems, from short-term explosive to lactate anaerobic threshold to long distance and your endurance system. So you're getting the benefit of a sport that encompasses all 3 training systems. There is some resistance and some strength involved from the impact of hitting. It's not gonna be the same as weight training, so if you're looking for size or muscle growth, boxing isn't necessarily gonna give you that. And the one area that I think boxing is limited is in the flexibility, mobility range, so which is very important. So you would wanna look to other areas to supplement your training for that. But in terms of overall fitness and performance and capability, boxing is at the top of the list and will get you into authentic, amazing shape. Number 6, with boxing, you can make a lot of progress on your own. You don't have to depend on a team. You don't have to depend on a group of people. You don't have to book courts. You don't have to get special equipment. You don't have to wait for a certain time of day, etc., etc. You can train on your own and make a lot of progress in between official training sessions, in between time where you're not at the gym. And that's one of my favorite aspects of boxing is it can be the middle of the night. As long as I have a space and some privacy, I can train. Number 7, boxing has been the ultimate savior for me in 2 areas, stress relief and self-defense. And it may not be what you think. If you haven't seen my self-defense video, it's not self-defense in the way you might think. But first of all, hitting the bag and all of that training and all of your mind being on hitting someone is very cathartic. It actually has the opposite effect that somebody who hasn't boxed might think. When I'm finished with a boxing session, I'm not thinking to go out and punch somebody or hit somebody in the face. That's the last thing I want to do, especially after a sparring session. I love everybody. Boxing has been the ultimate cathartic stress relief. And if I compare that to a lot of other sports that I've played, hockey, tennis, baseball, and then other conditioning, let's say running, swimming, cycling, those are all fun and enjoyable sports. They put me in a great mood, in a euphoric state, but they don't give me that same stress relief that boxing does. After a good session of boxing, I am flat out. All I want to do is relax. From a self-defense point of view, the same thing sort of occurs, is that once you have that confidence in yourself, and especially if you're involved in sparring, the last thing that you want to go do is go out there and look and start staring people down or start looking for engagements that are going to be confrontational. You are good with yourself and comfortable with yourself and confident. And so boxing puts you in a state of mind that's going to give you greater awareness, greater self-confidence, and it's going to eliminate a self-defense situation before it even occurs. You're going to be proactively eliminating situations that would have to lead to self-defense. One thing I like about boxing is that it is for everybody. If you can, let's say you put your hand up, if you can do this, if you can do that, you can box. If you can do this, move around with your feet, you can box. If you can do this, you can box. So whether you're 70 or you're just somebody who thinks that they don't belong in the sport of boxing, I say to erase that sort of thinking. Give it a shot before you make any conclusions. Boxing, as long as you are in structurally decent condition, you don't have any serious injuries in your neck or in your hips or shoulders, nothing too serious, then you can box. Boxing is for everybody. Number 9, through boxing you build a lot of friendships, a lot of camaraderie. There is almost no greater camaraderie you can build than sparring with someone and elevating each other to that level, especially if you're sparring with somebody you know and somebody you trust. That is some real companionship right there. And as one boxer that I had sponsored put it in a different way that I'd never thought of before, boxing builds trust. When you're with somebody else in the ring, you have to trust that they're gonna put on their best performance, but in a clean and ethical way. You have to trust that somebody is there to help you and look out for you. You have to trust that somebody wants the best for you and that you want the best for them. So there is a mutual exchange that's going back and forth between you and the coach, you and other people in your gym. And after that, the friendships that I've had have lasted years. People who I'm still in contact with years later, even though I'm no longer in the gym with them. Number 10. Now, this is one for me, and it might not apply to everybody, but especially after being a teenager and coming out, when you come out into your early 20s and you're not in a competitive sport, it's very easy to get caught up in aesthetics or working out for the sake of aesthetics. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be in shape. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. But when you're not in a sport and you're just training for aesthetics, your focus goes from performance to aesthetics. And boxing is one of those sports where it gets your mind back to performance. So essentially, what somebody is capable of and what somebody can do is much more important than what it looks like they can do. And that sort of carries more meaning into your life because you know that you've sacrificed, you know that you've worked hard for something. And that doesn't mean that there isn't any aesthetics to go with it. It doesn't mean that they're mutually exclusive, that working towards boxing and then you're gonna look like crap. You're still gonna look good, you can still look good while having the performance. So you can have your cake and eat it too. But I personally think that aesthetics for the sake of aesthetics is an empty goal. It's a meaningless goal because once you achieve the ultimate look you want, then what? Then there's still another thing that you want, whether it's to attract the opposite sex or whether it's money or whether it's something else. So I think that the pursuit of performance, to maximize your performance, whether it be through boxing and through another sport, is a meaningful goal in and of itself. That if you were to say that, hey, you know, I put in the effort, the time, and the sacrifice, and I became the best boxer that I could possibly be. That really says something about you, and I think you can carry that for years to come. So those are my top 10 reasons for why I think you should get involved in boxing at any age, but I actually have a bonus reason that I want to talk about. Boxing engages the mind in a huge way. When you are there trying to put the techniques together, working on it, putting combos together, you're using your mind for how you want to do this, working your hands and your feet, trying to put things together, thinking through it. Then there's the whole imagination concept. You are imagining someone throwing a punch, boom, 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 or they're retreating and you have to go and you have to get to them to land that shot and get out without getting hit. You can visualize yourself sparring your favorite boxer, seeing how you do against GGG, seeing how you do against Roy Jones in his prime, seeing how you do against Tyson, picturing it, imagining it, and having a lot of fun. If any of you know anything or have looked up anything about the Tetris effect, boxing sort of has that same thing. It engages your mind not only while you're doing it, but before and after. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of strategy involved, and you can use that in different ways. You can shut your mind off just to work on drills, just to work on something basic, or you can engage your mind to work on a specific technique or tactic, or you can go even to the next level where you're imagining and visualizing yourself sparring your gym nemesis, your favorite boxer, or anybody from the past, putting your mind to work. If you have any other reasons for why you think boxing is a great sport, I definitely want to hear them in the comments below. But those are my top 10 with a bonus. And if you are on the fence about getting involved in boxing, I hope one of these reasons suits you and compels you to get involved to the degree that you want to get involved, boxing on your own terms. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.